Okay, so now that we've got entries and now that we've got home base, let's talk about kind of this gray area of getting the guy to the fence and then getting them to the home base. Now, I want to preface this with, you're not always going to try to get them to home base. Sometimes things present themselves where you want to take it and strike where the iron's hot. Okay, so don't get so centered on home base, but the bulk of this instructional is going to work from home base. So I want to show you how to just kind of work your way into it. Once you get a guy properly wedged, and once you've got his predictabilities kind of mapped out, it's pretty simple actually just to work yourself into home base. So I'm just going to give you a few examples on how to get into home base. I'm not even going to talk through them too much, but Prasanna's going to give me like 10% reactions, and I'm going to find myself into home base in a bunch of different options. Okay, so that first one, double jab overhand right. Boom. You get into the fence. Maybe I swipe that knee in. I reach up for my underhook. I get my head. I get my hips. I get my hands, and we're good. Okay? One more time on that. Okay, just kind of swimming, pummeling, simple stuff there. Okay, we got our next one, our jab cross hook. Right? Just pummel into those positions. One more time. Okay. Next, we got our push. See how that worked on both sides? Now we got our head on the outside single. You're just pummeling, you're getting your hips, hands, and head. There you guys have it. That's just a little quick session to kind of bridge the gap between getting those entries, getting them to the wall, and just working your way into these positions. You're at a big advantage. You've got so much more mobility. You can dig these underhooks. You can pressure into the wall. He can't pressure you back into a wall, right? So just work your pummeling. Practice through that, because that's a lot of feel. But the great thing is you know the destination. You know what you're looking to get. Looking to get that underhook, hands, heads, hips. You'll be good to go. We'll see you in the next section. Okay, in this next section, we're going to talk about how to get out of our opponent's home base. Okay, the home base is a method used when offensively wall wrestling to not only wedge your opponent to the mat, to the wall, but also to initiate takedowns from that wedge. Okay, so this is a tactic that we go over extensively in our offensive wall wrestling instructional. You're gonna wanna make sure you get that. That one's almost maybe better to get before you go into this one, because you'll understand it a little bit more, but either way, go back and watch that if you haven't. Okay, so he gets into home base. What he's looking to do with home base is put his knee in between my legs to the mat, so it's hard to get my hips out. Right? He's going to look to get his head underneath my head, so it's hard to get my hips lower than his. And then he's also going to try to get wrist control here, so that I can't get to my underhook. And he's going to have a high arm here, so I can't get to my clamp. Okay? So he's shutting down all of our exit strategies. Okay? So there's a concept. Hands, hips, and head. What we need to do is beat all three of these things in no particular order to be able to escape, okay? So what I'm gonna do most of the time is start beating the hand. If I can beat the hand, it's generally the best thing. Not always the most available thing, but if you could choose to beat the hand first, that would be great, okay? So there's two ways to beat the hand. One, you can get your hand off the mat and work into a roll, right? Get the hand off the mat and roll. You're always going to roll towards the thumb. So he's gripping this way. I'm going to roll towards the thumb. If you were gripping the other way, I would roll towards the thumb that way. Okay? So that's one way. But if he's pushing your hand towards the mat, which he should be doing if he knows what he's doing, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this arm down. I'm going to get my hips towards that leg. I'm going to bring my knee up real quick and then strip that with my knee. All we do is just lift, strip. Once the grip is stripped, he's gonna be gunning for it again, right? So I wanna pummel and get to my underhook. Once I get my underhook in, I wanna keep this clamp nice and tight because he's gonna try to swim back in. And I wanna make it difficult for him. And especially that little lip on the glove, if I just tuck my elbow, it's really difficult. Okay, next thing I wanna do is I wanna beat the head. Okay, the head is hard to beat, I'll just be honest. You almost have to grind your way through. So I like shrugging just a little bit. Not so much that I'm off balance here, just shrugging with my shoulder and getting my head to the side of his head. Now, all in one motion, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start turning away, okay? So he doesn't have these clamps and he doesn't have my head, so I can start changing my level low. And I'm gonna get my butt out. He's got this knee here, but I'm gonna get my butt on the other side of his knee. Here. Now his posture's broken. My underhook is doing a lot of work here, and this arm can clamp. Once I get my clamp and my butt's out, I start turning, and look where I can end up. Into my home base. Into my own takedowns. Okay? Don't wanna beat a dead horse here, so we'll just go over it real quick. Hands. Head. And I mean, you just can grind down his face. Hips. Work the turn. And then get right into your home base. Okay? That section is just a quick concept on how to beat the hands, how to beat the hips, how to beat the head. And it is a grind, right? It's think of it, I mean, grappling is a grind always. So it's a lot of working through here. See how I got my head first that time? That's okay, use the head. Now start swimming, clamping, right? So take whatever you can get there, all right? Sometimes maybe he'll drop down for like a double or something like that, and now your hips got lower. All right, now you use that to get the head, the underhook, clamp, and we're here. As long as you can think of it in terms of a principle, beat the hands, beat the head, beat the hips, you're gonna be well on your way to getting out in that situation. Okay, once we have beaten the hands, hips, and head, we have two options of exit. We've got our front door escape towards the underhook and our back door escape towards his overhook, okay? So he's in home base. We beat the hands, beat the hips, all this stuff. We can either go towards the front door, like we talked about, getting the hips, clamping, turning, or we can beat the hands, beat the hips, get to a frame, and then start working out the back door. Okay? So let's go ahead and break down how both these work. Now, what's happening is when he's wedging here, there's always an angle that he's pushing us in at. Okay? I mean, he might be kind of pushing us in this way, or he might be pushing us in this way. So that's going to dictate a little bit about where he's leading you to escape. Okay? So for this first one, once we beat the hands, beat the hips, beat the head, if we can get our butt out this way, towards the underhook, with our clamp, we clamp, turn, it's almost like we're driving a big rig. I clamp, get my butt out is huge here. All right, if he's pressuring into me and my center mass gets offline, now push into me, he's only making it easier for me to turn him. If his spine is running into my spine, there's no getting off this. But once I get my butt out, it's much easier. Okay? So big clamp, big underhook, big hips, and then it's easy to turn. Okay? On the flip side of that, let's say you have this underhook and he's really forcing you in on this side. Getting your butt out feels really difficult. Yeah, exactly. There it is. I just feel like I can't get my butt out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to beat the hands, beat the head, beat the hips. And now that he's primarily over here, I'm going to get this inside frame. right there on his neck, okay? This frame is really important. We're gonna use it in so many different scenarios here in defensive wall wrestling. Right here, okay? Now he can't use his head to bully me, right? He can't get his head position back. I'm here. Now try to turn into me. He's just gonna let me out. He turns into me. All right, he's gonna guide me out because if his body's moving, he's just pushing me out. Okay? So with this one, yep, you can start in good position here. Beat the hands, beat the hips, beat the head, and I got this frame. Now all I do is I just shuck him forward with the whizzer and get my hips out. I can't emphasize enough. Once you get your hips out, you're free. Because all of his energy is still traveling towards the wall, right? And if he tries to adjust, you're out. All right, so if that makes sense, we're either going out the front door or out the back door. And a lot of times, sometimes he dictates it. If I'm kind of wedging in this way, he's gonna go out the back door, exactly, he gets his hips out. If I'm wedging here, maybe trying to lift this leg, right when his hips get out, he's gone. Okay? So, pretty simple concept. I can't emphasize enough this. If you've done jiu-jitsu, the cardinal sin of being pinned is having both shoulders on the mat. Why is it any different on the feet? We never want both of our shoulders and both of our hips pinned on the wall here. If we can get to angles, butt out, I can start getting out. Think of it very similar to a shrimp. We're kind of shrimping using the wall. Okay? So, if you know jiu-jitsu, that reference hopefully really resonated. But yeah, let's keep it running.
Baby, you cannot pull it and replace it. Baby, you cannot pull it and replace it. Wait, baby, you can't pull it and replace it. Baby, you cannot pull it and replace it. Wait, baby, you can't replace it. Wait, baby, you cannot pull it and replace it. Wait, baby, you can't pull it and replace it. Baby, you cannot pull it and replace it. Wait, baby, you can't pull it and replace it. Baby, you cannot pull it and replace it. Wait, baby, you can't pull it and replace it.
It's all in my mind. It's all in my mind. I'll replace it. It's all in my mind.
Wait, baby, you can't pull it and replace it. Baby, you cannot pull it and replace it. Wait, baby, you can't pull it and replace it. Baby, you cannot pull it and replace it. Baby, you cannot pull it and replace it. Wait, baby, you can't pull it and replace it. Baby, you cannot pull it and replace it. Wait, baby, you can't pull it and replace it. Wait, baby, you cannot pull it and replace it. Wait, baby, you can't pull it and replace it. Baby, you cannot pull it and replace it. Wait, baby, you can't pull it and replace it. Baby, you cannot pull it and replace it. Wait, baby, you can't pull it and replace it.
It's all in my mind.
What's up, everybody? Adam Powell, The Art of Fighting. What we have just announced is the Defensive Wrestling Instructional. This is going to revolutionize your takedown defense. It's modern MMA. You have to know how to deal with defense, right? It's the game is changing, right? If you're a striker and you don't have defensive wrestling, you don't know what to do when a guy wedges you up against the fence, you are in trouble, right? And even if you are a wrestler, it's totally different defending against the wall when you don't have the sprawl to rely on. Okay, so in this instruction, we're going to go over how to deal with single legs against the fence, how to get out from a wedge when someone's pressuring you against the fence, how to deal with single legs, double legs, body locks. We have it all. How to deal with getting back up when you've been grounded in a safe manner. We have everything you need to successfully wrestle defensively against the wall. All right, so check it out. It's only $5. We'll see you over at our Patreon.